In 2006, Disney Channel released a little movie called High School Musical. That movie and the sequels came to bring the network a lot of success in the years following, launching both the singing and acting careers of stars like Zac Efron, Corbin Bleu, and Vanessa Hudgens. These stars and their projects they appeared in will go on to generate quite a lot of money for Disney. So because of that, they tried multiple times to replicate that same kind of success by launching similar franchises in that same vein. But I'd say without a doubt, their most successful attempt at doing this would be in the form of one Camp Rock. It is 100% one of the most iconic Disney Channel original movies of all time. And when you look at the cast, it's not hard to figure out why. This movie helped launch the career of Disney icons like Demi Lovato and the Jonas Brothers. Ever since the launch of this YouTube channel, I knew that I had to cover Camp Rock and its sequel at some point because it's Camp Rock and I'm Mr. Nostalgia for crying out loud. However, I knew that whenever I did review this movie, I wanted to go in as blind as possible, considering I kind of went my entire childhood without seeing it, which I know sounds crazy, but like, I promise it kind of makes sense once I explain myself a little later. So not only is it my job today to watch it for the very first time as an adult, but I also take a deeper look at it to determine if it holds up today. I'm sure it doesn't, but that's what's going to make this a fun watch. So join me, Mr. Nostalgia, as I, for the first time ever, sit through and analyze the 2008 smash hit Disney Channel original movie, Camp Rock.
Friday, June 20th at 8/7 Central. Joe, Kevin, and Nick Jonas kick off Disney's Camp Rock weekend with the world premiere of the Disney Channel original movie Camp Rock, only on Disney Channel.
That's awesome.
Joining Jonas Brothers are fellow Camp Rockers Demi Lovato, Allison Stoner, Anna Maria Perez de Tagle, and Megan Jet Martin.
All of you are invited to chill with us.
I'm gonna have so much fun.
Camp Rock! Disney's Camp Rock weekend. It all starts Friday, June 20th at 10 a.m., 9 a.m. Central.
Alright, let's get down to business. Last year when I reviewed Teen Beach Movie, the way I did things was I released a review of the first one, a review of the second one the week after, and then like a month later I dropped a combined version which featured bonus content like a tier list of all the songs from the series, plus a deep dive into some of the Teen Beach related stuff that Network did around that time. The goal is to do that same thing this time around, just with a few changes. First of all, I have no idea when the second one is coming out. Some of y'all know that I am working on a multi-hour retrospective like I usually do every year. So, things are a little bit in flux right now. There's totally a possibility that the second one is coming out next week. There's also a chance it's not coming out till 2 weeks from now. I genuinely don't know, but it is coming. Also, the combined version will still likely happen, but instead it'll be on my second channel because that's where all the bonus content goes, if not on my Patreon. I think that's about it though. We can get into the rest of the video. Camp Rock premiered on Disney Channel on June 20th, 2008, premiering to 8.9 million viewers. It is currently the third most watched DCOM of all time, right behind High School Musical 2 and the Wizards Waverly Place movie. Talk about good company. The cast consists of people that were mostly already in the Disney world to begin with. A lot of people don't remember this, but Demi didn't actually get her start on the network from this movie. It was actually this little series called As the Bell Rings. Allison Stoner had a recurring and main role in both Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and Phineas and Ferb, respectively. And the Jonas Brothers, Nick, Joe, and Kevin were already making music under the company for about a year at this point. But this film was used to bring them and everyone else in this movie into a new realm of popularity, something that I'd say worked out very well in their favor. And then we have Rashawn Fagan, who later got a role in Shake It Up, most likely thanks to this movie. It is directed by Matthew Diamond, someone who has his fair share of Disney Channel credits, like directing episodes of That's So Raven and Phil of the Future. Oh, nostalgia, I can't believe you didn't mention that he also made Here Is Everything He Has Ever Done, Leave Me Alone. Camp Rock centers around 14-year-old Michi Torres, and wow, this movie has literally the most Disney Channel original movie opening I've ever seen. Can we just break this down real quick? She wakes up to the tunes of her own music that we as an audience then hear. Then when she takes her covers off, she's just instantly smiling. No one has ever done that. I spend the first 2 minutes after I've woken up trying to remember my name and if I'm even human or not. But she just got straight to business. I gotta say, she did gain a couple aura points for creating her own soundtrack that she listens to as she gets ready. I was gonna fry her for all the silly stuff she's doing in this opening, but I can't hate on someone for having a little whimsy in their life. As you can gather, Michi is an aspiring songwriter and musician who is genuinely very multi-talented. When she goes downstairs to eat dinner with her mom, who you no doubt recognize from Waverly Place, we get this first mention of this summer camp called Camp Rock that she's been trying her best to convince her parents to let her go to by dropping clues in the way of flyers. But unfortunately, they just can't make up the money right now to send her.
I know. You gotta go. Last day of school. Don't want to be late.
She didn't even touch her breakfast. She's insane for that. Your mom, your sweet, beautiful mom just told you they're a little low on funds at the moment, and your reaction is to waste food? Like, what are we doing here? That y'all look good too. After her last day of school though, Mitchie gets quite the surprise from her parents. Turns out her mom was able to get a discount because her catering company is being hired to provide food for all the campers. Must be nice living in this household. Waste food in the morning, come back home in the afternoon to a surprise. Would have never happened with my parents. Anyway, time passes and we get our first look at Camp Rock. A summer camp for kids to showcase their musical talent. Whoa! That was crazy! Why did he do that? And then we got Jose Alvarado over here showing off his drumming abilities. There's some talented kids here. Well, we already know who the mean girl is. Fun fact, I wrote this joke before I found out that she actually starred in Mean Girls 2. That's crazy. Connie, Mitchie's mom, introduced herself to the camp director, Brown Cesario.
I can't wait for you to meet her, though. She has got a great voice.
Oh, you gotta brag, love. Learned that from the Mixter. Jagger.
You knew Mick Jagger.
Wait, Mick Jagger is real? The dude from the Maroon 5 song? A meeting is held outside to welcome all of the campers, and while they all wait for it to start, Mitchie has a run with Tess Tyler, who Allison Stoner's character Caitlin dubs as the diva of Camp Rock. She thinks she's better than she actually is because her mom is successful artist TJ Tyler. Mitchie and Caitlin introduce themselves to each other, and Caitlin shows off something she's been working on.
No, I can't laugh yet. I've got to hold it in.
We're then introduced to the musical director, Dila Duke, who instantly brings some much needed high and positive energy into the camp. I like her, man. She's like that one teacher that you never saw get angry. She gives the campers a quick little powwow detailing what they're going to be doing at the camp, but ends it by saying the most important thing is that they have fun. She then adds that they'll be doing something quite different this year. For the first time ever, they will be joined by a celebrity instructor, who we later see as in-universe celebrity Shane Gray, played by Joe Jonas. For context, earlier in the movie we saw that the tour he and his band Connect 3 were supposed to embark on has been cancelled on account of Shane's negative attitude, especially after he stormed off of the set of the music video. The rest of the Connect 3 members, aka Jason and Nate, are played by Kevin and Nick Jonas, respectively. But one thing that's a little weird is that we don't really know if these guys are all supposed to be brothers or not, but there's one line specifically that made me wonder if they're related or not, and that's when they mentioned Shane's Uncle Brown as his uncle, not theirs. After doing some research, it seems like I'm not the only one confused by this, as even the Jonas Brothers themselves don't really know. The sequel apparently confirms that they're brothers, but I haven't seen it at the time of me writing this, so because of Shane's behavior, they decided to send him to this camp as it would be good PR. Plus, this same camp is where the three of them started their bands, not like he'll be in some unfamiliar place. Before they drive off, they tell Shane that he has to do a duet with whoever wins the final jam, something that Shane does not react to very well. Later, Mitchie and her mom prepare the burgers that'll be served later that day, as it was part of the agreement that she has to help her in the kitchen. After taking out the trash, she finds a piano in one of the public cabins and decides to play it. She's under the impression that no one is listening to her since there isn't anyone around, but what she doesn't know was that Shane is hiding in the nearby bushes outside, instantly being bombarded by a bunch of screaming girls. It's then when we get our first sneak peek of the song she's been working on, This Is Me. I definitely remember this one being played pretty often during commercial breaks and whatnot around this time, so I was pretty familiar with it already. And I figured, considering how much it was advertised, that it wasn't just some random one-off song in a scene. No, this one is pretty emblematic of the main theme of the movie, which is something we'll talk about a little later. This catches Shane's attention, so much so that he goes inside to see who it was that was singing the song, but he walks in a little too late, teasing the two characters' connection that obviously gets explored more in depth further into the movie. Mitchie heads out to an open mic event and spots Kaylin and Lola, the latter of whom actually gets selected to perform a song. This girl is tall, bruh. In real life, she's 5'10" apparently, which is nuts. It's so funny seeing her stand in between Demi and Allison. She and a few of her friends perform a song called What It Takes, and hold on, this song kind of bangs.
Everyone talks about what they think they need.
Yeah.
Picking up a list of things, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. After she's done, she gets rightfully so applauded by everyone around her. And Caitlin says that it makes sense that she's so good, as her mom is actually on a Broadway right now. Clearly, it runs in the family. But considering Broadway isn't the most lavish or popular form of entertainment out there, no one really cares about Alola's talent. It's all about the bling, according to Caitlin, which is why Tess practically runs the camp. Dumb Nepo baby. Turns out saying her name summons her, apparently, and Midgie tries to introduce herself to her. But we quickly start to see what Caitlin was talking about. At first, you think that her dad is some famous composer because of her last name, but when she says that she just owns a hardware store, they start to dismiss her. It's not until she lies about her mom being the president of Hot Tunes TV when she starts to get attention.
So have you met anybody?
Yeah, like everybody. Last summer I was in like 3 music videos.
I love when characters in movies or shows are so obviously lying, but whoever they're talking to buys it anyway. Mitchie is offered a bed and Tess in her friend's cabin, so she grabs her stuff and moves in. The girls find out that she writes songs, so they ask her to sing one of them. And so she goes with This Is Me, but stops a few seconds in thanks to her nerves starting to kick in. They do tell her though that she did a good job, which makes Mitchie excited. The next morning, she wakes up super early to get started in the kitchen and tries to leave without waking anyone up. When breakfast is actually served to all the campers, Tess asks what happened, and Mitchie just says that she's an early riser, adding on to her ever-growing list of lies. The campers attend one of the music classes, and while waiting for Brown, their instructor, to show up, have a little jam session.
If the class is a rockin', I'm glad I came knocking.
Mitchie gets picked to be the first to sing in front of everyone, and being consistent with her personality so far, is a bit timid to start off. When she gets a little more direction and reassurance, she starts to sing with the same kind of confidence that we saw earlier, during the piano scene. Everyone is pretty impressed by her vocal ability and are even supportive of it. That is, everyone besides Tess. After this, she immediately tries to have Mitchie join her group, but as a background vocalist, so no one can upstage her. I think that it wouldn't be a good idea for her to sing solo for her first final jam. She then tries to add a bunch of other false statements to turn her off from the idea of performing alone. And this tactic ends up working. Mitchie agrees to join her group, but says that she can't practice right now since she has to run, and doesn't specify where she's going. We see though in the next scene that she has to once again help out in the kitchen, and while she's working, she gets a visit from Miss Shane Gray, demanding to speak to someone. Not wanting to be recognized as someone who works for the catering company, Mitchie throws flour all over her face, a disguise that is actually really effective now that I'm seeing it. Shane is complaining about how he couldn't eat his breakfast this morning thanks to them not complying with his allergy sheet that was supposedly sent over by his manager. And Mitchie isn't taking any of that, so she calls him out for it. That's what I'm talking about, Mitchie. Realizing his tea has been clocked, he leaves, but not before Mitchie forces a thank you out of him. I was just joking, by the way. I totally know who Mick Jagger is. Got you to comment, though, didn't I?
Don't rock and roll away. The Disney Channel original movie, Camp Rock, will be right back.
I have been working on several different videos at the same time recently, and while one of them will be revealed in due time, I wanted to briefly talk about how I've been able to handle such a workload. And the truth is, I be sleeping. Like, real good, especially lately. Now, how have I been sleeping so well recently? Well, I am very glad you asked. The special secret support to my successful slumber as of late is thanks to none other than today's sponsor, Manta Sleep. No lie, sleeping used to be an issue for me, so much so that there would be days where if I didn't get enough sleep, it would affect how much work I do the following day. Manta came in clutch though, because not only were they nice enough to send me the Manta Sound sleep mask, but they also threw in a white noise machine too. I didn't even ask for that, but I'm not complaining. To get more in depth about these sleep aid devices, I'll start with the mask. This wonderfully made piece of eyewear is a perfect tool to assist you as you start counting your Z's. One of the reasons why is because literally, as soon as I put it on, all I see is jet black. Not that jet black. That'd be pretty sick though. No, but seriously, I can't tell if the lights are on or if it's daytime or nighttime. It truly is just pure darkness, which is great for drifting off. It has these C-shaped eye cups that fit perfectly around your eyes without adding any pressure. And these cups are adjustable too to accommodate your eye shape and size, not to mention the material they use is soft and actually quite pleasant on the face. But to me, the most useful feature is without a doubt the ultra-thin Bluetooth speakers that come inside of the mask, which are also adjustable. I know some of you guys like to fall asleep listening to long YouTube videos or perhaps even podcast episodes, myself included, and let me tell you, this makes it so much easier to do that, and it actually works. It's got some great 24-hour battery life too, so you don't got to worry about recharging them for a while. Lastly, we have the white noise machine. With 15 different sounds that you can listen to for hours on hours, this little device truly creates a shield of sound that blocks out any outdoor noise and could put you in the mindset that you need to go to sleep. All you got to do is click once to turn on, click again to turn off when you're done, or you can even use the timer setting in case you want it off by a certain time. Me and Manta Sleep have something in common. We are both supporters of the pro-nap movement. The only question is, will you join us? If you want to give it a shot, visit the Manta Sleep website. Use my code STALGIA to get 10% off of your next purchase. There's also a link in the description and pinned comment. And thank you again, Manta, for sponsoring today's video.
Let's rock and roll on back to the Disney Channel original movie, Camp Rock.
Shane grumpily and sternly introduces himself to the dance class he's supposed to be teaching and tells them to follow along to what he's about to do. They quickly scatter to their positions and he does whatever this is. Awkward dancing must run in the family. Yeah, jokes aside, this scene is incredibly painful to watch. It makes me wonder how Disney let this air to begin with. Was the production team not aware how bad this looked? Towards the end of the performance, Jose Alvarado bumps into Tess, causing him to fall on the ground. That's crazy, my boy. I'm not gonna lie, you need to get in the weight room. Tess says a snarky remark to him, and Shane swoops in to defend him and help him. He even gives him some advice on how to transfer his drumming skills to his feet, so he can improve his dancing. The first event that makes Mitchie wonder if there's more to Shane that meets the eye. One of the things that Shane is struggling with in this movie is not wanting to be kept in the same box that his label wants him and his brother's question mark to be in. He wants to branch out and try something new, both lyrically and sonically. You know, to express himself. It's more or less Mitchie's goal as well, which makes their eventual relationship that forms in the movie make a lot of sense. Unfortunately, we don't really get to see much of this though, thanks to the facade that Mitchie has been trying to keep up. Despite her immense talent, we see during her bonfire performance with Tess and her friends that she's been relegated to background vocals. This is crazy, bro. She's not even a dancer. She's for real just throwing out ad-libs like a member of the Migos or something. One thing that also starts to happen thanks to this facade is the strain that forms in Mitchie's relationship with Caitlin. Although she doesn't know who Mitchie's mom really is, she is aware of her talent and disappointed to see her sell out in a way, just to fit in. A little later, Mitchie and Shane have their first real one-on-one encounter since the last time Mitchie had flour all over her face. She asks him about the song he was playing and mentions that it's pretty different from his usual stuff. Shane takes this a lot more negatively than intended, but she quickly clarifies that she likes it. He then goes on to talk about how he only makes music that the label thinks will sell, and he's honestly sick of it. Mitchie offers up some good advice though and says that he'll never know if that type of music will sell or not unless he, at the very least, tries. And as she leaves, now it's Shane who starts to notice that Mitchie isn't like everyone else. Mitchie's double life starts to catch up with her though when Tess and Caitlin are caught in a bit of a mini food fight after she spills some noodles on her. And Mitchie tries to get in the middle of them. Man, people just love wasting food in this movie. Brown takes him to his office, and since all he asks is who threw the food first and not who really started it, Tess says that it was Caitlin, which technically is true. So, as punishment, he tells Caitlin that for the rest of the summer, she is to help out in the kitchen. This is obviously a problem though, because Mitchie also works there. So once Caitlin finds this out, she starts to see through her disguise.
You're the cook's daughter. She's your mom. Oh, this is rich. But apparently you're not.
Everything I do.
That's crazy. She did not have to add in that extra comment. Caitlin is for real the best character in this whole movie. Shout out Allison Stoner. Mitchie attempts to explain that she was just trying to fit in, and Caitlin is not letting up. She even starts to ask questions, so that way when she tells everyone, she can give them the full story. This ends though when Connie comes in to see the mess that was made, and Caitlin is walking out. After this though, she just has some of the best scenes in the whole movie. She stays calling out everybody. I love it.
Warm, funny, talented. You? I don't get it. After camp, maybe we could come to visit you and your mom in China and go to that Happy Summer store. Look, Caitlin, about what? Save it, Mitchie. If that's even your real name.
It's a shame that she also has arguably the worst scene of the movie.
She's really good.
Yo, it's funny because like she's not. I have seen this clip so many times on social media, and every time I see it, I just always hope that this wasn't actually how it played out in the movie. But wow, these were the type of beats Lil Wayne was rapping on in his last album. Out here sounding like my old Spider-Man plug and play game. One thing about this movie is that it feels like it was written by a bunch of really old people who don't have any kids, grandkids, nibblings, or friends with children that are absolutely clueless on what they were actually like around this time or what the stuff they were into was like. And they didn't even bother asking either, so they just went with whatever they thought would be fitting. Between Shane's dancing, Caitlin's beats, and this third thing I'm about to mention, the consistent misreading of late 2000s youth culture makes this movie come across like a parody. I didn't even bother mentioning Buddy from Shake It Up and his friend unironically saying "holla" and the teacher following suit. Really? Holla? What is this, the Big Daddy Kane album? Might as well have ended it with "word" or something. Got these dudes talking like Do the Right Thing characters. This gets even worse when Tess, out of jealousy, pulls the plug on Caitlin's keyboard and Caitlin starts pressing her. And we get this in response.
Okay, what is that?
She said, whatever, major loser.
They're being dead serious too. Look how her head recoils while doing it. She meant that. If there's one good thing that comes from the scene, it's the reconciliation of Caitlin and Mitchie. Caitlin even shares some interesting lore. She actually used to be friends with Tess back in the day, but not anymore, clearly.
Tess doesn't like competition, and she felt I was.
Why? Ain't nobody scared of them cool math beats. With her, there could only ever be one star, which is herself. So considering this is the case, the same is likely to happen to Mitchie. But considering she's in a little too deep at the moment, she can't quite back out now. Matter of fact, she has to now leave to go rehearse for the final jam, despite her enjoying the conversation with Caitlin. Meanwhile, in the B plot,
no go backs. Yeah, no go backs. It's like the golden rule. No, dude, the golden rule is tell the truth. Dude, then it can be like the silver rule. Why is it the silver rule? Okay, fine, the copper rule.
You can tell the only reason why these characters are getting this much screen time is because of who was playing them. Anyway, Shane is on the hunt to find the girl with the golden voice, aka the one who we heard singing earlier in the movie, aka Mitchie. He asks Jose Alvarado to spread the word that he's looking for her, and little by little it gets out. Obviously, considering it's the Shane Gray who is trying to find this voice, a bunch of girls who aren't Mitchie are trying to convince him that it's them he's looking for. And funny enough, the one who doesn't sing for him is Mitchie, who says that she doesn't need to, considering she believes that he's never heard her before. One thing that has been brewing between them, though, is a relationship that I said will happen earlier. A few scenes ago, Shane showed her a song he's been working on to see if she had any feedback, since the two share similar mindsets on expressing themselves. So it adds up that the two would start to spend even more time together. This time, while out on a boat. They get on the topic of how Shane actually just puts up a rock star image to keep the posers away. I'll let that one slide. They used to say posers all the time on Zeke and Luther, so watch my video on that, by the way. Shane says that he acts like that to distance himself from anyone who might be only interested in the optics that come with being associated with him. And like, I can get that to some extent, but that doesn't really explain why he got kicked off his music video set. There's no reason to act like a joke when you're around your personnel and brothers ? So while I'm sure he's not a jerk all the time, he's still definitely kind of a jerk. The conversation starts to get flipped onto Mitchie though, when Shane asks if, considering who her mom is, the same happens to her. I feel like it's definitely this moment when she realizes how bad she's messed up. This whole time she's been preaching to Shane this message about authenticity, meanwhile she hasn't been doing that herself. And one of the reasons why Shane feels like he can open up to her is because of the fact that he believes she isn't fake. And while in that sense we know that she isn't, she's not exactly innocent either. After this, to surprise everyone, Shane brings in the rest of Connect 3 to perform a song they've been working on. That song being Play My Music, one of the songs I definitely remember hearing on Disney around this time. And it's probably my second favorite from this movie. Hey, look at Kevin, man, hitting this patented Kevin spin. Love to see it. You know what I don't love to see though? The scene that occurs immediately after this performance. See, for context, right as they were leaving to attend this performance, Mitchie refers to Connie as her mom, unknowingly in the vicinity of Tess. Now that she knows who she really is, she used this to expose her in front of the other campers.
Hey, Mitchie! Tell us about your mom again.
You know, if Mitchie was smart, she would have used this as a perfect opportunity to make a yo mama joke. Oh, wait, her mom is rich and famous. Never mind. Not much you can really say after that. Unless you wanted to be like, oh yeah? Well, I heard your mom was on the Epstein list. I didn't even notice this the first time around, but Mitchie's mom is like right there when all this goes down too. Mitchie confesses that she lied about her mom being the president of Hot Tunes, and instead reveals that she's the cook. To make matters worse for Mitchie, Shane then starts letting her have it.
Shane.
You were lying all summer.
All summer? It's been like 3 days, my boy, chill. Shane says that she's just like everyone else, despite him at first liking her. He believed that she was lying only to get close to him, and everything she was saying about believing in his music was cap. And I can't really blame him for thinking that way either. See kids, that's the thing about lies. They might get you out of a small little problem or two temporarily, but the more you do it and the longer you do it, eventually you're going to find yourself in a bigger hole than you were before. Ooh, hold on, let me write that one down in case I become a parent. Who am I kidding? I ain't having kids. Tess overhears Shane talking to his uncle about how he can't get Mystery Girl's song out of his head. And once she hears him sing it, she puts together that this whole time he's been really looking for Mitchie. Remembering she still has her lyric book in her cabin, Tess goes in there and looks for This Is Me.
This is real. This is me. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Why does it sound like she's reading with like one finger over each word? Later, Mitchie explains to her mom why she wanted to cover up what she really does for a living, saying that she just wanted to be popular for once. See, back home, she only really has one friend, someone we saw earlier in the movie. Connie says, though, that she doesn't have to pretend to be someone else, because who she already is more than enough to win people over. I mean, I guess. You know what, though? I will give her credit. She does something that I wasn't even expecting her to do, and actually stands up for herself when Tess starts talking smack to her. But she doesn't just do this for herself. She stands up for everyone that Tess has ever been mean to, calling out the fact that although she might not come from money, she is 100% a better person than her and doesn't have to put others down in order to make herself feel good. And Tess doesn't really have much to say in response. All she does is tell Mitchie that she's out of the group, as if that needed to be said. But that might not be much of an issue, as Caitlin says that they'll just make their own group. As the final jam continues to grow closer, we see the stark contrast between Mitchie and Caitlin's group and Tess's. While Tess is stressing out her partners, we see some real UNITY between Mitchie and hers. Things are going really well between them all, and it seems like they might have a lot of good momentum going into the next jam. But of course, in classic movie fashion, right as things seem to be rolling, Tess accuses Mitchie and or Caitlin of stealing her charm bracelet. And considering that Mitchie does have a past with lying technically and doesn't have any proof that suggests otherwise, once he finds the bracelet in the kitchen, Brown bans the girls from competing in any camp activities until the final jam. Later though, Mitchie comes up with not just an idea, but also a bit of a loophole. One that we don't see until further in the movie, though I think you can guess what it is, even if you haven't seen this before. The night of the final jam has arrived, and while Brown is welcoming everyone in, we see something happen behind the scenes that's been brewing for a long time. Throughout the entire movie, Tess has been non-stop berating and disrespecting her supposed friends, Peggy and Ella. And after one more comment is made about them being amateurs, both of them decide to speak up for themselves and tell her that what she's been doing just isn't right. And they actually end up leaving the group.
Stop telling us what to do. You're the one who's ruining everything. You're too intense all the time.
This is what the Clippers told Chris Paul before they sent him home. Back out front, Connect 3 is introduced as the judges for the performances. And the first group to go up on stage refer to themselves as the Hasta La Vista crew. And as it turns out, Ella actually joins them last minute. Later, Tess gives her performance of the song 2 stars, which is just kind of okay. But what is interesting is that we see Tess's mom, TJ, for the first time in the audience. And at first, she is genuinely paying attention, but at some point she gets a call, and of course, this is when Tess takes a glance at her. Hey, you guys think Joe Jonas got flashbacks when he fell while performing SOS that one time? You know, between this and the Kevin Spin reference, it seems like I've done a lot of research on my Jonas Brothers lore. I wonder why. Nah, that's what you get. Ain't getting no sympathy from me. The biggest shocker from this competition comes from Tess's former group partner, Peggy. And it's not even the fact that she can sing. I figured she could. I was just shocked to find out her real name is Margaret. That's significantly better than Peggy. At first I thought that Tess made her like change her name or something. I never really quite grasped why she randomly started going by Margaret. I looked it up. Apparently Peggy is actually a common nickname for Margaret. Maybe I'm tripping, but like I feel like there are very few kids that actually understood that on the first try. Anyway, she kills it. The song apparently isn't actually sung by her though. It was Renee Sandstrom, so shout out to her. Definitely one of the better songs on the soundtrack. The lyrics are very fitting, mainly covering the topic of forcing yourself to stand out and shine amongst everyone else, even when there are some people that want to silence your voice. Everyone really loved her performance, as you can tell from the applause. But what's really surprising is when Tess, out of all people, also gives her much-deserved props. It seems like what happened on stage really humbled her. I wish we could have seen more of the transformation to really get a better grasp on what it is exactly that made her change, as I do think it would have made for a good scene. We understand that her character's actions are likely influenced by some neglect from her parents, more specifically her mom, but to maybe see a subplot with her where she's struggling to live up to her mom's name and feeling pressured or something would have made me more accepting of this most likely. But it's not a big deal. It's now though when we see what Caitlin and Mitchie were cooking. When Connect 3 go off to cast their votes, the final jam gets interrupted.
We'll check you in a minute.
Yo, was Vecna coming or something? Why did it sound so scary? Turns out Brown wasn't being genuinely mean. He had an idea that Mitchie and Caitlin were innocent, but didn't really have anything to prove it. So he repeated after the final jam like 20 times in order to get his point across. He applauds the girls for picking up on his clue and tells them to, well, rock it. So Mitchie gets on stage and starts belting out the lyrics to This Is Me, accompanied by a fully produced background track that we can only assume was engineered by Caitlin. She catches the attention of everyone in the audience, but it's Shane that really takes notice of her because he's finally found his girl with the golden voice. And he uses this opportunity to mend his relationship with Mitchie and even incorporate his own lyrics that he made that, unbeknownst to him at the time, were actually about her, since all he had in his head up until this moment was her voice, not her face. Man, y'all have seen the movie. You're the voice I hear inside my head, the reason that I'm singing, I need to find you. Man, this song slaps. I'm putting this at the top of my certified bangers playlist. As great of a performance as this was, rules is rules, and so considering this technically wasn't a part of the final jam, it wasn't eligible to win it. It does, however, go to my girl, Margaret Dupree. That's what I'm talking about.
Congratulations, Peggy.
Alright, y'all gotta stop calling my girl Peggy. It truly is a bottom tier name. Sorry to any Peggy's out there though. Peggy Carter, Peggy from the Discovery Card commercial, y'all rock. I just don't love your name. You know what I do love though? This song that they sing at the end of the movie, aka We Rock. The song that I always viewed to be more or less the theme of the movie. Everybody and their mama is involved with this one too. This dude trying to get all the screen time he can, acting like he's the third main character. You're not Allison Stoner, little bro. They got this dude all the way in the front. Relax, you had like one line. Might as well have had Jose Alvarado out there. All right, now he's just starting to tick me off. He's probably thinking, I don't know if they're gonna bring me back in the sequel, so I'm gonna go all out. So if there's one thing I've learned in the past 2 videos that I've done on this channel, this one and Princess Protection Program, is that Disney Plus is low-key trash. Both PPP and Camp Rock have secret endings or post-credit scenes that I guess you could see in their DVD versions or something, and neither were on the Disney Plus versions. But this one mainly centers around more or less all the girls from the movie linking up again after camp to record some music in Caitlin's homemade recording studio. It's crazy too because we get a whole song from this called Our Time Is Here. And it's low-key the worst song from the movie, but I thought I would point it out anyway, because there's a chance a good portion of you have not seen this. I do really like the concept of them all being friends and seeing each other in between camps though. I would like to assume the camp itself is not insanely far from their houses, so it's not unrealistic to say that they did this from time to time on weekends or something. Either way, though it's not technically the end of the movie and it really is more of a bonus scene, I do think it was a nice interlude between this and the second movie. Thanks to all the clips and memes I've seen about the movie, prior to me watching it, I kind of put together in my head what I'd likely think about it, especially since I've seen a lot of decomps at this point. Some of them do have their own identity, of course, but for the most part, a lot of them kind of feel the same, just being real. I say all that to say that Camp Rock is basically the exact movie I expected it to be. I always kind of had a thing as a kid where if an actor that I cared about wasn't in a Disney Channel movie, then I probably wouldn't watch it, which is the reason why I just never cared to look at this one. Not to mention, I just wasn't into musicals or musical adjacent films. And although I don't feel like I missed out on anything that would have drastically shaped my childhood, I could definitely see why this movie holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts. I don't think it's a bad movie, even when comparing it to other Disney Channel originals. I do think it's pretty average, or middle of the pack. I do, however, think that this movie represents everything that Disney Channel is and ever has been. The good, the bad, and the cringe. So let's talk about that first. This is without a doubt the most quotable Disney Channel original movie, and I think that's totally one of the reasons why it's viewed as iconic. And honestly, in that regard, I totally agree. I mean, look at how many bangers we've received from this movie alone.
I'm Shane Gray, for crying out loud. Yeah, man, this is where Connect 3 connected.
She's really good. She said, whatever, Major Loser.
As bad and cringeworthy as some of these scenes are now, I think it honestly added some character to the movie. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's so corny that I kind of have to respect it. And we got some genuinely funny memes out of it. I mentioned earlier that I do think a lot of these are just a result of the writer's room not being tapped in with what the kiddies were actually like around this time, but I literally can't imagine this movie not being cringe, so I guess it kind of worked out for them. It is weird though how I'll see people post something from a relatively recent Disney Channel show and say stuff like, oh, Disney Channel is so cringe now, what is this? When this movie low-key invented cringe. Like, Disney Channel has been cringe for a long time. Why are you pretending it's something new? And I'm not even using this as a bad thing for real. It was hard to sit through at times, but after I got used to it, I kind of just embraced it, like many of you did. My actual issues start with the characters. Mitchie definitely can be relatable, but she can also be really annoying. Tess was just your average mean girl with a slight redemption arc towards the end. Shane was just kind of lame to me, and the rest of the characters, minus Caitlin, just felt like they were there to fulfill stereotypes. I'm a big character guy, so if they aren't very compelling in your movie or show, chances are I'm not gonna like it that much, and that is pretty relevant here. Another, albeit odd complaint I have about the movie is that the music scenes lasted way too long sometimes. I feel like it would have been appropriate to shorten a few of the songs in order to improve on the pacing, and then just releasing the long versions on CD. But again, it is a rather small complaint and more just on a personal preference. I also think more than this movie being cringe, it's really cliche. It coming out in 2008 does kind of save it, considering it dropped before a few of the other movies that taught similar lessons in similar ways. But you got to look at it from my point of view. I've seen so many of these movies since I've started my channel, and so as a result, I do get tired of seeing certain tropes. But at the same time, it has honestly made me less nitpicky with these movies. I think this movie did a good job at what it was trying to be and accomplish. I think this actually was one of the better attempts at the be who you are, not who you think you need to be theme that we see so commonly in kids' films. It felt pretty earnest, and the ending of the movie having Tess lose and Margaret win definitely helped sell that message, even adding in the use of her real name to show that she's trying to be her real self. Mitchie and Shane, although not being my favorites, also help with the execution of the movie's theme. They're kind of on opposite ends of the same spectrum. Shane's got it all, but in the midst of all the fame and attention, is trying to reveal more and more of his real self because he's tired of just doing stuff that sells. Mitchie, meanwhile, is trying to make her way to the top where Shane is, and believes that putting on this facade will help her, but in the midst of that, starts to lose the great qualities about her that made her stand out. At the end, we see that once both of these very different characters started to express themselves, their real selves, that's when they felt the most free. It's a message we see a lot, but hey, it is important. And then lastly, I really like the concept of the movie. It's like X-Men Evolution, but for band kids, which is fun. In an alternate universe, this would have actually made a great show. Having an episodic format would have led to some really fun musical plots, I feel. I guess the closest we got to that was like, the School of Rock TV show from Nickelodeon about 10 years ago, which funny enough, actually featured a Demi Lovato song. And speaking of songs, this movie did definitely have some good ones, I can't lie. My top 3 would probably be This Is Me, Play My Music, and I guess We Rock. That chorus is just so catchy. Hasta La Vista and What It Takes would serve as honorable mentions though, for sure. Solid tracks. Overall, Camp Rock is exactly what I expected, but it's not bad. Totally get why people view it as iconic. It has a fun premise, a good message, even better songs, and some memorable quotes. And yeah, maybe the movie would have benefited from a little less cringe, but it's also true that it just wouldn't be the same without it. I will give Camp Rock a 6 out of 10. It definitely could have been a lot worse. I want to know what you thought about the movie though. Please let me know in the comments below. Check out my Patreon if you want to see content earlier than everyone else. Perhaps even a sneak peek at my next multi-hour retrospective that I might have perhaps already also teased during this video. Also subscribe to my second channel, simply titled Nostalgia, for more of me. If you're new, feel free to subscribe and hit that like button. And like always, I am Mr. Nostalgia and I am out for now.